Welcome to this video. If you're new to my channel, let me just introduce myself. My name is Raya. I'm 47 years old. I have 2-month-old twins, a boy and a girl that I conceived through embryo adoption. So I wanted to share an update about the twins. They're now exactly 2 months old. They were born January 22nd, 2022, 22 minutes apart. Two babies. So the number 2 is kind of like the theme here. Of course, they are fraternal twins, meaning they are two completely separate people. I mean, they're so different. I know that even identical twins, of course, are very different, but of course they look very much alike. Emil is our boy and Lola is our girl. When they were born, Emil was 2,600 grams, which is 5 pounds 11 ounces, and Lola was 3,450 grams, which is 7 pounds 9 ounces. So she was the chunky one. He was so small. I mean, it's still within, within the parameters of normal. It's not like he was a preemie size. He was fully developed. Everything was perfect. We did have a home birth. In case you have not watched my videos yet, I have my birth story video and I will link it up below. And I also have the actual birth. We actually documented it on video. And it's normal for babies to lose some weight after they're born. I started breastfeeding, and of course the first couple of days there's not a lot of milk coming, it's just the colostrum. Of course they only need tiny amounts those first few days, but I remember thinking, oh my goodness, they lost weight, which is normal if they lose the weight. And he was just, like his face, it was all wrinkly because there's no fat on there, and his body, his legs were so thin and tiny. And I remember looking at him and thinking, like, that poor thing, that poor little boy, I love him so much. All I want for this poor little boy is just to gain weight and to become really chunky and like this chubby baby. And Lola was not the one I was worried about at all. She was nice and chunky. She had, nice chunky legs, very chubby, and she looked great, no worries. Well, over the past few weeks, I mean, he kept gaining weight so quickly, and he has long surpassed her. So right now, I weighed them yesterday actually, he is 5,300 grams, which is 11 pounds and 11 ounces. So he's almost a 12-pound baby now, which is kind of crazy, thinking about like, where did he start? He's just so chunky. I will, by the way, show you the babies at the end. They're sleeping right now, so I got time to talk, and I will definitely show them at the end. And Lola is now 4,700 grams, which is 10 pounds and 6 ounces. I made a note because I never know what it is in pounds and ounces. We live in Germany, so it's all in kilos and grams. Okay, Emil did just wake up, so I can show him to you, but he is hungry, so I'm just gonna have to feed him now. So there's Emil. Yeah. See, our little chunky boy. 8 weeks today. He's got the blue eyes. And he's getting like this cute, his hair is growing. And I think it's the cutest thing. It's just like it's going all directions. And development wise, they're doing great. A few days ago, they both actually started rolling toward the side. So now we have to be really careful when we put them down somewhere, because they are starting to round up. Lola is really strong already. She lifts her head when she lies flat, and then she lifts her legs, and then of course the back rounds, and then she rolls sideways. She's done that several times when I laid her down on the couch. So gotta really watch them. And I thought, well, maybe he'll take a little longer because he is growing a lot faster than her. Like his rate of growth, he's like way above the percentile. I don't know what percentile, but he's like above the average way. She's more along the average growth, and he's like fast. We had our pediatrician came to our home a couple weeks ago, and he's a friend of ours, so it's very great that he can come here. And he checked them both, and he said, well, she's just doing the normal growth, and he's like just way up there. So it's a good thing, and I think he's gonna be maybe a big boy, I don't know. Sleep-wise, it's been kind of up and down, but the past 3-4 days they were so wonderful. Lola actually slept for 5 or 5.5 hours. We bathe them at night, we put them to bed, or we feed them and then we lay them down, and Lola sleeps long stretches now, which is awesome. The first stretch, he sleeps like 3-4 hours, maybe sometimes even a little longer already. And then I don't know, he is crazy hungry after that first stretch. He gets, I breastfeed during the day, and at night, that first feeding, I breastfeed because there's a lot of milk in there. And then, if they need more, if it's like less than a couple hours of them waking up, since the last feeding, I give them a bottle just to make sure they're really getting full. And he's the one, like, Lola will just go back to sleep and sleep another 4 or 5 hours, which is awesome. Like, the other night, she was pretty much only awake once. And then, early morning, which counts as pretty much almost sleeping through the night, right? Which is amazing for a 2-month-old. And he, after his first stretch, he'll wake up every hour, every 2 hours, and he will demand more feeding time. Last night was a little different. Again, at 4 o'clock, it was kind of over for me. They were both kind of taking turns, and then they were up at the same time. And when they're up at the same time, it's kind of like, they're kind of getting restless and stuff. Yeah, so sleeping is getting definitely a lot better. Feeding wise, like I said, I breastfeed. I really want to pump more. We take turns. Andreas does the first shift at night several times a week, to where he will watch the babies until like 1 or 2 a.m. and then I will take over. He's kind of a late night person anyway, and then he sleep in later, and I'm an early riser naturally and an early bed person naturally, so I try to go to bed as early as possible, and then I sleep till 1 or 2, and then I'm good to go. I'm really good to go on my boob now, so now he's happy. Luxury of breastfeeding, you just whip out a boob and feed the baby, and it's very quick, very effective. It's always the right temperature. I could probably exclusively breastfeed them, but it's just too much stress. It's really good, to give yourself grace when you have twins. And of course, I'm someone, I always want to do the right thing. I always want to do the best thing. I'm just kind of really hard on myself sometimes, just wanting to, sacrifice in order to do the best thing. The long-term goals are, to me, always much more important than like what I want right now. So I'd rather go through something really hard right now if I know it's better for the future. But when it comes to breastfeeding, it's just like I do need my sleep, and I think it's good for the whole family. It's not going to help anyone to have me being tired and edgy and worn out. So, it is tiring and wearing out, like, as it is. There's no sugarcoating it. Having twins is just a lot of work. You'd never get a break. But I'm trying to create more opportunities for myself to take care of myself. And of course, I would like to work out more. Now Lola is crying like I have no chance. Let me see. I just think it's so important that you are not worn down, that you give yourself space and time whenever possible to refresh yourself, to get, regain some energy, because that's going to benefit your babies and your family big time. So other than that, those are pretty much all the updates. Yeah, there's one thing that happened a few weeks ago, and it's horrible. It's horrible. I wanted to cut their nails, which I have been successful at doing. And as I was breastfeeding, I thought, okay, now is a good time. Lola's left hand was just there, I could just grab it, and then I cut her, and it started bleeding. I felt so bad. I just couldn't see it right, and I cut her. it started bleeding and it would not stop, and I would just press on it, her poor little finger. It bled for a while, and you know, it did eventually stop, but I felt so bad. I was like, poor thing. I don't want to cut their nails anymore now. I'm terrified. I know there are different ways to do this, but if you have a recommendation that includes anything that is not like, you know, like scissors or nail clippers, I know there are those like electric files where you can just file down the nails, but we have one, but I think it's too fine. Maybe there's something that's a little bit more coarse to where it actually works, because this one, it just doesn't do anything to the nails to shorten them. But they get such long nails. So I don't know, if you have a recommendation, please comment below. So that's pretty much it for all the updates. I will give you another update probably next month. I will also give you another update about my postpartum journey. I really want to get serious now. I've been doing a lot of maybe like internal stuff, like, you know, things you can't see. It's not about getting rid of belly or anything, which I don't have a huge problem with. And you know, my skin is pretty okay. But now I want to start really just getting more into shape again. It's fun, it's springtime, and like I want to go outside more. So I'm trying to find ways to get more opportunities to, you know, time for myself to do those things, because it does take time. And I will show you Lola because she is waking up. Okay, here she is. They're still in their little sleeping sack. You know, it's nice and warm. It's a little cooler still during the night. So let me see if she can show her face and not fuss. They've also started smiling. So like, you know, intentionally actually. You smile at them and they smile back. Hey, sweetie. You wanna look at the camera, Lola? It's really hard to take her down because of the sack. So here she is. Her right eye, I keep putting drops in there. It's getting a lot better. It's not infected or anything. It's just, you know, the tear ducts get stopped up. And my midwife said it's totally normal. A lot of newborns have that, and I keep wiping it. We have something homeopathic that we use. Yeah, she's hungry now, so we're gonna say goodbye now. And next time, hopefully, we will get a smile for you. Thanks for watching. If you wanna follow our journey, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you next time. Be blessed.